Okay, it brings us on to this evening. So, um, way back in February, some of you might have come to a meetup that we ran, which was a bit like this. We did workshops of ideas. We, like I said before, we're a bit of a broad church of people, all with different backgrounds. We work in different areas. Some of it's technical, some of us not. So in order for us to help design a program of events, we ran this evening to get ideas from our audience, from you guys. And one of the huge themes that came up was AI for good. There was a lot of people who understood the capabilities, the positive influence that AI has in their business or in their life, and understand that perhaps charities or non-profits don't have the same opportunities to adopt AI in the way that we might have. Now, anyone who knows me knows I love a stat. So just to let you know in terms of what that looks like for the non-profit sector. 70% of non-profits are likely to adopt AI. However, actual adoption is 10%. So that 70% figure represents what they hope to achieve. If you look at the commercial sector, it's in the UK is around about 40% people using AI regularly in their work. And so there's already a big difference, and that gap is getting wider. So as we onboard our business AI into our businesses in a commercial sense, the same rate of adoption isn't necessarily available to the non-profit and charitable sector. To compound things as well, I was reading some very tragic statistics about service demand in the climate that we are living in at the moment, cost of living, etc. 81%, there's been an 81% increase in demand for charities, which is huge. And that is also based around more difficult environment for fundraising, where just 55% of charities believe they're going to reach their financial goals. Now, I work in consulting, and if I said that I've got just over half a chance of reaching a financial goal, well, I'd be in the bin. That's just... So you can understand there's a real need there. So this is why we're having our evening, and what we've done is we've invited 5 charities. I know there's 7 along here, but it was sort of down to the wire in terms of what we could get. So we've got 5 charities who are going to present to you today about give you a little bit of an intro on what they're doing, and it's great stuff. It's so different, diverse, so we're really excited to hear about that. And then they're going to go on to tell you about a few challenges they have around productivity or how they streamline, and this is where your brains really come in. Whether you are really familiar in a technical way with AI, or whether you are just a business person who might have you'd be using a really cool tool, anything is really important to kind of to capture. And what we want to do is try and spark a bit of a discussion. So we've got 5 charities, and you'll notice we've got 5 tables. So we will assign you a charity when we come to that part of the evening. So let me carry on here. It's a bit of a slow... Oh, I'm going back. Sorry. Dan. There we are, Dan. Where are you? Dan. I'd like to invite Dan from Dadler Soul to come up and let us know a bit about the charity. Thank you.
You got the blipper? Yeah. The slides are loaded up, aren't they? You're not going to make you go.
Yeah.
Lovely, Panica. Hello. First of all, I feel a bit of an imposter because the first time I really had a go on ChatGPT was last Thursday. I went to a workshop with Gareth and Mary, and the penny dropped. It really, really opened my eyes to what could be done. So I'm the founder of... No? That the song? I didn't. Okay. Well, this could be fun, isn't it? I was going to tell you a little bit more about what we do and our impact. So we are a non-profit that's set up in Worthing 7 years ago. Sorry.
We can come back to you.
Would you mind?
Yeah, we'll just do that.
Would be quite helpful.
Yeah, sorry. We're just... Okay. Thank you, Dan. We're going to hear more from him later. Yeah, so sorry, little technical hitch there. So we're going to move on to audio active. And sorry, I just realised I put my phone down here. Sorry. So Audio Active is it's such a cool local charity, and their co-founder Adam has provided this video just to give you a bit of information about what they do. So can you play that, Charlie?
Yeah, one more time.
Okay.
I'm Rory Graham, aka Rag and Bowman, and I'm the patron of Audio Active, a project that aims to help people in a variety of ways through music. Audio Active is helping to affect real social change with projects like Room to Rant. Run in partnership with charity Mankind, Room to Rant is a rap and spoken word workshop with focus on mental health.
About maybe 3 years or so, Audio Active and Mankind had a little meeting, decided that it would be good to bring some of the things that Audio Active had been doing, particularly with beat making and lyric writing, into a session where people could just let fly.
This project aims to give young men a chance to get things off their chests in a safe space.
It was really just to create somewhere that young men could come that offered an alternative method for them to get support.
Many of the lads involved in Room to Rant have had troubled pasts. This is a project that gives them the opportunity to get what's in their head out in the open.
You know, we get here and we check in with everyone, you know, we'll go around the table and see how everyone's doing, and, you know, if someone's had a bad week, you know, we'll base the group depending on that.
And we had some sessions where we would just talk for 2 hours. Philosophy, history, moral dilemmas, just everything getting covered.
Okay, so sorry, just bear with me. Okay, yeah. So Adam has just provided a little Loom video, a bit of a kind of just a chat to us. So I'll play that for you and you'll get an idea of the challenges that he faces. Adam, like I said, is the co-founder.
Hello. This is my first time using Loom, which I just downloaded 2 minutes ago. I've seen Mary's little invite to send something into you guys. Might be too late in the day, but I thought I'd give it a go anyway, because this is the kind of solution that would really work for me. I speak much better than I write. Operational efficiency is probably the biggest one at the moment. We've got such a complex way running, even, for example, people getting paid every month. We have 40 or so freelance artist practitioners. They invoice once a month. They work across different projects with Audio Active. Some of them have lots of work with us, like 3-4 days a week, all made up in sessions. Each session might be paid for by a different funder. We have 30 or 40 income streams, each paying for a different aspect of our work. And we need to code those invoices back to the cost centers in our chart of accounts, which is incredibly complex, takes a hell of a lot of admin. There's a hell of a lot of room for human error. And we are currently starting to ask the question about what systems are out there and how can we best implement them with our CRM to cut down on human error, to cut down on admin time, to make the practitioner's job much more easy and less complex in terms of getting paid. Bearing in mind, lots of our practitioners are creatives and they can't deal with spreadsheets very comfortably. A lot of them just don't like them. And also a lot of our workforce is neurodiverse as well. So lots of factors and questions there that I've just got a real feeling in my stomach that we could really be missing something here. How it aligns with our other process of building the CRM and setting up our data framework is another sort of careful consideration, but I think the timing for these questions is just right for us. Okay, guys, nice to meet you. I'm Adam from Audio Active, and it'll be really good to see some of you at some point. Hope this is helpful and hope it's helpful both ways. Thanks, bye. Hello.
There we are. Fabia. This is Fabia Bates. She is the CEO of Clock Tower Sanctuary.
Thank you, Claire. Oh, hello, everybody. Lovely to see you all, and thank you very much, Claire, and everybody at Brighton AI for this opportunity. As you said, I'm CEO of Clock Tower Sanctuary. We are a day centre for 16 to 25-year-olds who are homeless in our city, which is always fairly shocking when you think of the sort of city that we have a significant problem with youth homelessness. We've been going for about 25 years. We were set up originally by a group of women associated with a local church who realised that they were seeing a lot more young people on the streets. And when they spoke to them, they understood that the reason that this was happening more and more, and this is very much at that point, was because they didn't feel safe in a lot of the spaces that were there for the general population. So if you had somebody who'd been homeless for 20, 30, 40 years, going in and out of various traumas, but you're 17 years old, that's not a space that feels safe for you. So they decided to set up something that was specifically for 16 to 25-year-olds, and that's what we remain today. We're based just around the corner. You probably wouldn't know we were there. We're just off North Street. And 5 days a week, we offer warm food, hot showers, washing facilities, volunteers who will support you, who will come and listen to what it is that you want to talk about, and then casework. So it's a safe space for people to come. We see between 120 and 150 young people every year. We have about 10 to 20 young people, up to about 25 young people who come every day for those various services that I talked about. There's an awful lot more that we do as well, but obviously that's to give you a bit of a basis. Claire very, I think, clearly stated that one of the key challenges that all organisations have at the moment in terms of charities is funding. Funding is always an issue, and if I didn't stand up here as CEO of a charity and say funding's an issue, I'd be lying. It is for everyone. But we have a particular circumstance with Clock Tower Sanctuary. We don't have any government funding at all. So we get nothing from the local authority, the health service, anything like that. We are fully dependent on donations from trusts and foundations, but also very significantly from individuals, from community groups, and from local businesses. And we communicate with all of those groups in different ways, through social media, through newsletters, through individualized letters, those sorts of things. And we've got a sense of what might work and what might not work. You kind of, if something really hits a nerve, you can see that there's a response to a particular campaign, but we really can't put a finger on why that is and what works. So I think what we really want to understand is which of the channels we're using, which of the words that we're using, which of the timings that we're using to send out these appeals or these communications or these updates is working. But then there's the additional spanner in the works, which we know that if you talk about the experience of a young person and how awful it is and how dreadful it is for that young person, and describe it in that detail, that might work. But that kind of approach stigmatizes young people and stigmatizes people in those situations. So we want to know how we can balance bringing in the funding that we absolutely and fundamentally need whilst remaining so true to what we do as an organisation. And I'm probably going to stick it. I did have 2 or 3 different challenges, but I think that's probably the one that for us is the most challenging. It's analysing what we do and working out how we could do that better. Thank you.
Thank you, Phobia. Amazing. Thank you. Okay, now we're going to move on to Focus Foundation. Some of you might have heard of Focus Group, big local corporation. This is their charitable arm, and we're going to hear from their CEO.
Hi, I'm Chris Goodman, co-founder of Focus Foundation and Focus Group. Focus Foundation is a grant-giving charitable foundation and the philanthropic arm of Focus Group. Focus Foundation is all about connecting communities and changing lives. Where Focus Group allows customers to connect and collaborate using essential business technology, Focus Foundation connects communities to make a positive and lasting change to people's lives. Our central themes support underprivileged children and mental health charities. Focus Group covers the running costs of Focus Foundation. So every penny of your hard-earned money that you donate goes directly to the beneficiaries or to the grants that we issue. It's about making sure that your hard-earned money is well spent and as impactful as possible. And we do that through a series of assessment criteria. We assess the scale, efficiency and governance of the charity, the scope, budget and impact of the project. We look for projects that are tangible, sustainable and highly impactful to ensure that they're as beneficial as possible to the communities in which they serve.
Okay, and Chris has sent in a couple of challenges that he would like us to think about. So the first one is around donor analysis. So a bit of understanding more about the type of people, segmentation of the donors that are very kindly giving to their charity. And the other one is, and this is often quite a popular one with the nonprofit as well, which is understanding how to design a chatbot for the grant application process. They rely heavily on that area, and they're concerned about retaining a human element within that. So if you can have a think about that, they'd be super grateful. Thank you. And then the penultimate charity, because we're going to come back to you, Dan, after this one, is grassroots suicide prevention. And we have a video to play you from Rachel Swan, who's the CEO.
Hello there, my name's Rachel Swan and I'm the Chief Executive of Grassroots Suicide Prevention. We're a charity based in Brighton. We work across Sussex, nationally and also a little bit internationally. Our vision is a future where more lives are saved from suicide, and we empower people to help save lives from suicide through connecting, educating and campaigning. To give you a little sense of scale, we've trained over 60,000 people in suicide prevention, mental health and self-harm. And we've been operating for the last 20 years. We do have amongst the highest rates of suicide nationally in Sussex, and with our cliff tops, we also have one of the top spots now globally for suicide rates. We're also seeing, in terms of the current landscape, following the pandemic and the financial crisis, and now with significant mental health services cuts, there's going to be a big impact on vulnerable people and people at risk, and we are very likely to see even higher rates within our area. So this video really is, I suppose, crucial at this time for me to share with you. We have a Stay Alive mobile app which has been funded by the National Lottery over the last 4 years. It's for people who are at risk or for those people who are supporting someone else. It's recommended by the NHS. We've had nearly 1 million downloads. It's in around 208 locations across the world. It's in 14 different languages. And we've got about 600 resources on it. including a find help now section. So if you at risk or if you're supporting somebody, you can find crisis resources in your specific area. So our challenge as a charity is, how do we make sure that we're supporting and reaching as many people as we possibly can, and preventing those people from reaching a point of crisis, and really helping them to live more fulfilling lives. And our Stay Alive app is a really crucial tool and resources that we have to offer as a charity. So over the next 2 years, we're now looking to see how can we further develop that app so it really is the go-to app nationally, that everybody knows about that app, and it really is meeting the needs of people who are at risk. And it's informed and co-produced by people from lived experience. On that point, we do have a dedicated lived experience advisory and feedback group that are really crucial going forward in terms of this further development. And in terms of that further development, we really need to look at what it's done so far. It has been independently evaluated previously, and we really want to see whether we can make it more interactive. We can really encourage people to get support, or in fact, we can help people to start getting more support through that app. So it's a big challenge, and we would absolutely love to work with you and your teams around the development of our app going forward, so we can really help people in our communities. Our website is www.prevent-suicide.org.uk, and you can find the app on there. It's free to download. That's all from me. Thank you so much for listening, and I would absolutely love to work with you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Oh.
Hello.
Oh, sorry. We're going to just switch over. Just give us 2 secs to switch over. There we go. Amazing. Everyone, can I welcome Dan back? Thank you.
Thank you. Right, fingers crossed. Right. Hello, I'm Dan Flanagan. I'm the founder of Dad LaSalle. I'm a father of a very opinionated 12-year-old. And I started Dad LaSalle probably about 7 years ago. The reason was that there are 1,000,001 mother and baby groups. But as a young dad, when I went there, I felt really out of place. I got questioned, what was I doing there? Why didn't I have a proper job? I was there to probably have an affair, or nice ones that, he's probably a paedophile because he's here to play with other kids. And actually all I wanted to do was be a sort of a hands-on parent. So I created a blog, I suppose, and went on a little bit of a rant, put a post on social media, said, I'm fed up of being on my own on Saturday with my son. Mums are great. They can go to a park and spark up another conversations, exchange numbers. I can't walk over to somebody else's missus and ask for a number and say, do you want to hang out? So we are a bunch of volunteers based in Worthing and operating across the UK. These are our guiding principles. We don't stand on the sidelines because we belong on the front line. We work for the cause, not the applause, and we try and make the world a better place than when we found it. So what we do is 3 things. We do a range of events. So we do dad-friendly play dates. We've created a concept of a youth club for men in the evenings. We've got a range of podcasts, radio shows, I think 100 hours worth of blogs and resources for men that are struggling. And what I thought I'd show you is not so much what we do, but it's the impact that it has. So these are the facts. Beyond the age of 30, men have fewer support networks than women. As As a man, it's very hard to put your hand up and go, hello, I feel like a Billy No Mates. Nobody wants that sort of stigma, but whether it's you're working from home or, you've just literally stopped going out. You have a much smaller social circles. And that has impacts. And the impact of, oh, there we go. Will it work? Could you play that? This is Tyler, who was one of our guides. So I just want to, if you quick listen to that. There's a video. No, sorry, but there was 2 very lovely videos, and tell you a bit more about there we go, the impact. So the last, I think, 7 years, 450 events, 12,000 people, 100 hours of user-generated content, and the bottom line is that we are actively saving lives. A lot of those charities that you've seen before, we work with, whether it be Audio Active and we do dad and kid rap battles, or we work with Grassroots, understanding the causes of what's causing, male suicide. And our sort of challenge is fundraising. It's gone. I think the stat I got told the other day is 1 in 20, right, as a hit rate for a bid. And the amount of admin it takes to create a bid, and we are a very small, volunteer-led team. It's so drawn out. And I just think within here, there are some very, very bright people to go, you know what, there's a chat for that. We could literally put together something. And it was a conversation I had with Mary and Gareth when I met them. So we need to build something that we can give to all of these other non-profits and charities that takes the heavy lifting. We don't want to remove the human from it, but I'd much rather spend my time doing events and saving people's lives than going through another bloody spreadsheet or form. So please help me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dan. And we're going to share the video, Tyler's story, and apologies that we couldn't show that this evening. That's on us. But Dan also made a really important point, which is that a lot of these challenges are kind of ubiquitous across the board for nonprofits and charities. So it's something to bear in mind when we come to our discussions. Can we build something that's going to help solve numerous charities? We can do whatever we want, really. So let's think big. So now I want to introduce Mary, and Gareth is over there as well from Simpler AI. They are amazing at helping onboard people with businesses, with challenges of AI and adoption into your business. And I'll hand over to Mary, who's been amazing and instrumental in helping with this evening as well. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Claire. Oh gosh, this is quite a responsibility. I've got the clicker. And I love the fact that we caught Gareth when he was down smuggling Fang, who is also a very important part of our Simpler with AI team. So yes, I've put this up on here. Well, actually, Charlie has. This is, I like Lord of the Rings. This is the one prompt to rule them all. So the key with AI is that you don't have to have the answers. You just need to ask the right questions. And sometimes a beginner's mindset is the place to start. So even though you might know the direction you want to go in, this is a great prompt to start with. I'm trying to X, I'm struggling with Y, the obstacle, list all the ways you can help me. And what chat will do is give you the main answers. Sometimes you want an exhaustive list or a left field or non-obvious, and then you can start to iterate. It will help you clarify your thoughts and help you move forwards. So when you're on your tables working on the individual problems of the charity, have chat on your phone, have your laptop, start playing and seeing what comes out. If you're not sure, Gareth and I will be roving around. Fang will help. Just ask us questions, wave us down, call us over, and we'll help you start to chat with chat. Or you can use whatever platform you like to start seeing how the combined knowledge and experience in the room can leverage that tool to help these charities. All we want to do is help them have more impact. So now I'm going to press a button. No, not that one. Yes. So you are each on a table. We're going to allocate you a charity. And Claire will have the horn that will sound like a dog's squeaky toy to guide you through this workshop. So this is a working session. We are going to be feeding back everything you create to the charities to help them do more. Now, and Claire will talk about it as well. For any of you that want to continue doing that work with the charities would be delighted to have you on board. So you can give as little or as much as you want to. So we're going to start with round one. We're going to generate lots of ideas, and we're going to do that quietly. Now, this is Rose. I'm channeling my inner Rose, who isn't here, who's an expert in workshops. And that's because you've got people like me that are chatty and will come out and start talking, and other people that need processing time. So we're going to give you the processing time. You're going to have your Post-it notes. You're going to write down all your ideas of what you might want to do about solving that problem. And we'll do it in 2 stages. And then we'll do the exercise again in round 2. And then we'll look at moving to solve, putting it on the flip charts, and then sharing and giving that feedback to the group. But that's up, oh, got it back. But that's absolutely fine, because we want all of your experience. So it doesn't matter if you're working on the same problem. Yeah, and that's it. I'm trying to think what's next. Okay, so this is really important as well. If you go to Brighton AI's site, they also have a framework, and this is the top line, the lovely BC. And I think, Matt, you worked on this as well. The ethical use, the ethical principles framework for AI use. So they've got it all mapped out. This is the top line. There is more information on Brighton AI's site for ethical and responsible use. Is there anything you want to add to that, Matt or BC?
Yeah, crikey. The important thing is to go to the Brighton AI website and have a look at the framework, because this beautiful graphic put together by BC sort of summarizes it, but it is a complex issue, because the power of AI is such that you've really got to think about your project as in making sure it does no harm, and it's a framework for good. So this is a summary of it, but you really need to look at the main framework as well when you get a chance. I think some people have already downloaded it and become an expert, which is great.
Fantastic. Anything else, Claire, before we kick off and hand over to you guys? So you guys now have to do the work. We're going to sit and watch, and you guys can do the heavy lifting. And be aware that we've got lovely people here. We've got Fabia and Dan, so you can also ask them questions.
And just wanted to say we're going to, we'll probably need a couple of volunteers for people who would be happy to feedback at the end, but I've also got Brighton AI colleagues who are happy, will distribute yourselves around as well. And especially the people with on the table with Fabia and Dan, you know, use them to their full potential. Yeah, any questions, anyone? Are we good? Have a bit of background music maybe, and we can crack on. Yeah, we got about, oh, sorry. Hi. Yeah, I'm just going to come round now and tell you. Okay, so Clock Tower Sanctuary here and Dad La Soul here, and then we will do. Do you want to do focus? You happy doing that? Yeah. I can come around and remind you as well of the challenges that they were talking about. So are you happy to do, hang on, what we got left? We got, you pick between suicide prevention, or do you want to do that one? Okay, cool. So I've just left my phone. Left my phone somewhere. All right, I guess you've guessed audio active.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Okay, so we're just going to do a quick, brief feedback. We won't keep you too much longer, just to hear about what everyone have sort of thought in it. So if you can be brief here, we've got, so who is, you going to do some feedback for us? What's your name, sorry?
Susie.
Susie. Nice to meet you, Susie. Yeah, if you could just let us know which charity and then which challenge as well that you were focusing on, and give us some ideas. Yeah.
Should I stand or sit? Or?
Do what you want. All right, stand up. You can stand next to me.
Okay, thank you. So our brief was focus, and there are two main goals, one of which is to make a donor matching tool. So basically, charities apply to focus for funding. We were thinking of building an AI pilot that can be funded. I think someone mentioned Innovate UK. So basically what we would have is a donor data analysis that analyzes keywords, certain things that the charities are looking for, and what can be done in terms of matching analysis, evidence, and yeah, mainly about matching with data fields, getting evidence as well, making an app that matches donors to projects, sort of like matchmaking in a way, making it fun with visuals. And the other side is having the grants, the charities making the grants. And there's a lot of hurdles that they have to go through. We were thinking of making a custom GPT, or I mentioned Claude's Anthropic because of artifacts, because I love artifacts at the moment. They would have guidelines and sample applications and like evidence that, you know, how good an application was. They would have statistics and you can match with that. They would have an eligibility to check and a pre-submit analysis of application content. So it's basically both ends.
Thank you so much, the Focus Foundation team. Right, just coming over to suicide prevention, grassroots suicide, was it? Yep. Do I have a volunteer who would mind telling us some of your... Well, I can, tell me your name first of all.
Hi, I'm Tabs.
Hi, and what was the main challenges you were focusing on?
So it was a suicide prevention app. So it was about raising awareness of the app and raising funds for the charity. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you want to talk about this one? Okay, so the ideas we came up with were for the charity to embed themselves in charity runs and charity events, so that their logo can be a prominent feature in runs and different things happening around the city. And the second thing was to try to embed themselves in places where they're at the highest risk groups are. So if it's youth, then approaching schools and promoting the app that way. And as far as raising funds, we talked about, so writing grants, in my experience, can be a really long, exhausting process. But how I started doing it in my job was we would use Copilot or ChatGPT to seek out existing grants and then find successful applications and then tailor our own applications to those and different criteria. And so instead of doing a few grants every few months, we were able to do a few grants every couple of days. And that volume of being able to produce high quality grants actually helped us raise a lot more money a lot quicker. What else was there? Oh yeah, and then we talked about merchandising and taking advantage of things like print on demand. And did I miss it? And yeah, that was it.
Brill, thank you so much. This is great. Thank you. Right.
Hello, I'm Douglas Kelly, and what was the name of our Audio Active? So we were talking about how to solve the problem of getting invoicing done from freelancers and people who may have neurodivergence and struggle with making invoices accurately. So we talked about using things like audio to text, so they might be more comfortable talking to something like Otter AI, which can turn their spoken information and like what their billing is and so on, turn that into text. And then when they get the text, they can use something like ChatGPT, and they can tell it all the things they're looking for, the venue that was being performed at, who the artist is, costs and so on. And they can use ChatGPT for validation to check that there's nothing missing. We talked about some other ideas, like if they have things like spoken word events and so on, they can use what's like audio, what are they called? Music making AIs to help generate prompts and ideas. So there's Udio, and there's a bunch of them, but I think the good ones are Udio and Sono, SUNO. And also using ChatGPT for things like prompts for rap and lyrics and so on. And we probably talked about many other things that I've forgotten, but I think that about covers it. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, just come around this way. Okay, who we got from Clock Tower? Anyone to? You're gonna? Oh yes, Fabia, of course.
Thanks. Seems only fair that I do it. First of all, I just want to say thank you. My God, what an energetic session that was. That was amazing. It's like ideas coming out of everywhere. I'm going to try and summarize on sort of the key things that we came to, but it really was very, very full on. There's an awful lot of amazing pink Post-its here and an orange one. The issue that I'd been talking about was the fact that it's very hard for us to understand which of our various forms of communication with current or potential donors are the most effective and why. So we had a long discussion about the various ways in which we could collect and analyze the data that we have in terms of not just our comms going out, but actually a really interesting idea, the comms that we get coming in. So when somebody says, oh, I want to hear more about the organization, or when we've thanked somebody for giving a donation, what kind of response do we get back when we ask them, you know, what drew them? So using those two ends and analyzing that to work out, and then linking that to the data we have on the donors over the past, however long our accurate data goes back, which, you know, could be interesting to find out exactly. So just some really, really simple things. I didn't know that the donor database that we use has an AI add-on. So we could, there's all sorts of things we could do there as well. I'm slightly rambling now, I realize. But what was very exciting at the end was that we then decided that we were moving towards the idea of some kind of hackathon where we could bring people together to look at exactly this and then create something. And along the way, we also talked about the idea of a chatbot that would be able to then kind of build in continuous learning and improvement as part of that process. So not just collating the data, not just coming out with those answers, but understanding that the sort of ongoing feed in of new data would make that relevant and keep it going. I think that was most of it. I think the thing that I've now realized as I was sitting listening to all of this is I now really want one of these for a young person who's worried about their housing. I want them to be able to input what their questions are and to have something come out that feels really human and responds based on the language that they use and the questions that they ask and has all the information so that they don't have to go and talk to the dragon at the council.
Wow, that's brilliant. That's so exciting and inspiring. So thanks, guys. And who do we? Okay, thank you.
My pleasure to introduce what a lovely, fantastic cause and charity that the soul. The way we organized this session, we sort of started with your point. We said, okay, not AI always a good solution for every problem. We identify the problem first, and we try to see if we can actually use the power of AI to enhance the data-driven decision making, as well as providing opportunity for such fantastic cause to extend their social impact within the society. So the way we did, we probably spent about like a first half time we had exploring the potential of the impact as well as the problems we had. So a number of problems then supported us to identify were related to the fact that actually getting funding is very difficult for charities, and we know that. So identifying what are the funding resources and how to channel the bid that can be successful is one area, and also to have expertise to use the power of AI to support bid writing. So the way we discuss it, we identify the problem is not only related to the fundraising scenario, but to do with many other situations or cases studies in industry as well. So identifying the funding potentials and how to write it. So the writing platform, in other words, if I simplify this, am I right? Yeah. So, and in order for charities to be able to write a good funding application, obviously they need to be aware of what are the funding bodies such as UKRI, Innovate UK, crowdsourcing. There are a number of different channels that we can get funding from. So then we're suggesting that actually the AI can support us to identify those channels of funding and to help us to give us like a checklist of actions that we need to do and we look at to write those funding as well. We also discuss about AI can be very useful, but human touch is important. Mehdi mentioned human touch. We need someone to co-edit, to write it, and as well as to organize it. And when it came to obviously resources, the resource is always the main issues that you have. So how we can discuss the potential of extending the resources through the AI. We discuss potentially by recruiting volunteers, a student at university potentially can help because they learn experience and also the charity can benefit from those experience. So this type of solution we try to come up with is looking into using the power of AI to support writing, potentially similar to scenario as ChatGPT 4.0 or Copilot to identify areas for fundraising, but also we understood that this platform cannot be a solution because human touch requires a person who is a critical thinker. They need to look at the data-driven approach by bringing all these different tools together to draft the proposal that to be successful. We discussed about the potential area to look forward, measuring the social impact as well, how AI can support measuring the social impact, particularly because there's so many social impact already exist through this wonderful charity. So the AI can actually summarize the data, to aggregate the data in a sense to be more visual and understandable by a number of different organizations to understand what are these impacts. So data aggregation, potentially analytic that supports the summarization of the data and visibility of this data is important. And we also discussed potentially about how we can use the data-driven approach to enhance the work that this charity does to benefit other charities, because you mentioned about the issues that obviously exist here, the number of other charities can benefit as well. And we also, we mentioned about how important it is that we look at what we call a spatial as well as the location-based type of data, because this is time. Time is important and location is important. We would like to identify the data enable us to support those areas in a timely fashion, in other words, rather than late. So these are the areas we discussed. So lots of opportunities. Have I missed anything? Have I missed anything? No? Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And so I think that concludes our evening. We will be putting this all through AI and giving you some feedback. And we'll obviously be directing all our information to our various charity partners as well. And I believe, Fabia, you said the hackathon word. It's something that a lot of people have talked to us about, and we are really interested, if anyone else is, in supporting people in the room, people online, people who want to join in to progress what's kind of been seeded here. So if you are interested, when we send out the kind of summary and feedback information, we'll also put the details of where you can sign up if you're interested, wants to keep posted on all that stuff as well. And we really hope that you do, because like I'm sure you've understood tonight, there's fantastic local charities that need our support. And if we can provide it, we would, I'd really love to encourage you, especially as this isn't, I know fundraising is the biggest issue, but around that we can really help. And if we don't necessarily have the means to provide financial funding, we can provide support in other ways. And I'd really encourage you to try and do that if you can. Okay, thank you so much to all of our charities for coming tonight. Can we have another round of applause just for everybody? Really, really appreciate. We're so grateful. Thank you. And thanks to all of you as well for being involved. And there's one more thank you that I missed off at the beginning, which is Rose Teig. So she's part of our Brighton AI organising team, and she's not here tonight. She's away with work. So, but this is very much her baby as well. So thank you, Rose, wherever you are. And look out for the next meetup coming soon, and come and sign up to us and keep talking to us, and we'll hope to see you soon. Okay, thanks everybody.